So, I haven't posted a YouTube video in 3 years, but we are back. Hi, my name is Shane, otherwise known as Flaming Tarot, and I'm a light worker and healer, but most people just refer to me as a psychic because it's easier. So this series is called Ask a Psychic. So basically, I'm going to be going on Reddit communities. I'm going to be finding questions and giving answers in this video. I'm going to be answering questions around psychics, spirituality, your healing journey, spiritual gifts, and everything in between. And the reason why I wanted to do something like this is because a lot of more people are starting to be in tune, starting to understand the spiritual side of things, wanting to go on their healing journey, wanting to go through a spiritual awakening. And a lot of the time, you do not have clear-cut answers when it comes to these things, especially when it's going into unlocking your gifts, wanting to know how to control your spiritual gifts, that type of thing. So I'm going to be answering questions, and hopefully it can help some people. So let's go ahead and start off with our first question. Alright, so this first question I actually have been asked a lot by clients, by people in my personal life, so I feel like this one is going to be really helpful for some people. So it's titled Dreams of an Ex. I usually don't mind and think nothing of dreams that include people I may or may not know. However, I usually don't dream at all, and when I do, they're not very consistent as far as storyline. I have recently ended things with someone, and I accepted that I no longer love them or want anything to do with them. However, the dream I had tonight was so oddly specific to us getting along and being together, and when I woke up, I felt so overwhelmed. Not sad, but like a heaviness of some kind. It didn't feel like a regular dream I could just shake off like usual, but I'm wondering why I'm having such intense feelings after a dream, but not in my day-to-day. I don't want to be with this person and want to move on with my life completely. So a lot of people don't understand this. So if it's an ex, a friend, a coworker, you can physically cut them out of your life all you want. But if you don't cut cords with their energy, it's going to remain in your space. So say you're still dreaming about your ex, you're still dreaming about a friend that you fell out with. It don't matter if y'all are on good terms or if y'all are on bad terms. They were in your presence physically, so their energy is still going to be in your space. So what you need to do is not only cut cords with them physically, but also energetically. And there's a few ways that you can do this. And to cut cords with someone energetically, it's not a one and done thing like, oh yeah, cut cords with them. No. So whichever method you decide to use, it's going to be a process. So the first way is every night before you go to sleep. Every night. I want you to do it for at least, I would say, minimum 3 weeks. So this is what I want you to do. Every night before you go to sleep, I want you to lay in bed, clear your mind, and then I want you to say this out loud. I cut all cords, ties, and contracts with every person, energy, or entity from any time, space, and dimension that does not serve my highest good. You were in my life before, but you are no longer needed. Thank you, I cut all cords. Anything along those lines. You're going to have to say it out loud, and the reason why I say 3 weeks, it takes 21 days for a mindset to change, or a habit to be broken. So this is going to be a good way for you to be able to cut those energetic ties, and that's why I say at least 3 weeks. You can try 2 weeks, but just to be safe, I would go for a minimum of 3 weeks. So the second way you can cut cords with someone energetically is through meditation. Again, this isn't going to be a one and done type of meditation. You're going to want to do this a few times. So if you're not experienced with meditating, you can use a guided cord cutting meditation on YouTube. I know that there are plenty on YouTube. Just go to whichever one you resonate with. So basically, if you're searching for a cord cutting meditation, whenever you're going through the search results, I want you to find the one that calls out to you. That's going to be the way you know which one you're going to want to use. Now, if you're a more experienced meditator and don't want to use a guided meditation or anything of that sort, what I would do is while you're meditating, I want you to envision yourself in this room. You're going to be in the straight center of this room. Whether it's just one person that you're going to cut cords with or whether it's multiple people. Basically, you're going to be surrounded by this person or peoples. They're going to have a rope tied around your waist. And they're going to be at the other end of the rope pulling on it. Basically trying to pull your energy. And basically, you're going to say out loud in this room, I cut cords with this person, this entity, this past life lover, whoever it is. I cut cords with this person, and then you're going to see your hand. You're going to take your hand. It's going to be glowing a certain color, whatever color resonates with you as far as what your energy is. You're going to take your hand and you're basically going to karate chop that rope that is connecting you with this person, and you're going to see that person fall back, the rope disappear, and you're going to be free. And if you're doing it for multiple people, then you're going to go on to the next person, because they are all holding onto their rope that is around your waist. So if it's 5 people, there are 5 people with 5 of the same rope just pulling on you, and you have to cut each one. And you're going to want to still do this meditation a few times. So the third way to cut cords with someone energetically is not a planned thing. This is a more spur of the moment type thing. So like, let me give you an example, because I've done it twice. So back before I would know that I needed to cut cords with someone also energetically, when I would cut cords with them physically, it would just be a one and done thing. Like, especially if it was on bad terms, I wouldn't give them, well, even the people that I cut off when there wasn't really any bad thing that they did, I would just cut them out of my life. I wouldn't give them a reason. It's just like, bye. I'm a Sagittarius. Our cutoff game is strong. So basically, I would just cut them off, no reason given. So basically, with this one person, they know what they did. Love and light to them, but they know what they did. But it's like they wanted to hear me say it verbally to them. And every time they would try to contact me, I would just block, 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 block. Like, they tried to get in contact with me so many times. So I was just like, I will block you every time. You know what you did. You don't need to hear me say it out loud. Bye. So this was a long time ago. Well, this was about a year or so ago. Basically, I was dreaming about them, and I was like, I thought I cut cords with you energetically. Why are you in my dream? So in my dream, they were asking me, like, hey, why did you cut me out of your life? Da 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 da. And I was hearing my spirit guides in my head talking about, okay, I just want you to go ahead and say why. I just want you to let it out. What happened? Explain it to them thoroughly. So I did. I explained myself. I didn't like that you did A. I didn't like that you did B. I didn't like that you did C. I do not have any hard feelings towards you. However, with what you did, I do not need you in my space anymore. We don't even live in the same state anymore because I had moved by this time. We don't even live in the same state anymore. I don't harbor any hard feelings. You did what you did. What is done. But I cannot have you in my life anymore. And then this person started to disappear. And then once I woke up, I was like, send that dream back to source for healing and transmutation. I cut cords with this person. They are not in my energy space anymore. So, what can happen is if you're dreaming about somebody and they're physically trying to talk to you, ask you questions about y'all's breakup or falling out or anything of that nature, just explain it to them. Now, don't be like, oh, well, you here, this is what you did, and I fucking hate you for that. No, don't do that. Don't be negative with it. Just be like, okay, this is what happened. I don't harbor any hard feelings, but this is why I cannot have you in my life anymore. And once I woke up, my spirit guides told me, there, you finished cutting cords with that person. And I was like, I could have swore. But then again, during your healing journey, you're going to have a lot of people that you cut out of your life for various reasons. I was having to do cord cutting so many times, I guess I just lost track. But that's how you can cut cords with someone energetically. So if you're dreaming about somebody, you just need to cut cords with them on an energetic level. They might not be in your life anymore, but that's what you need to do. Alright, let's go to the next question. Alright, so this one is titled, I woke up last night at 2:30 a.m. All of a sudden, in my mind, I hear, hey, clear as day. At first I thought maybe I just shifted weird, as this wasn't out loud in the room. This was purely in my mind, and I was trying to get more comfortable. 2 seconds later, I hear a more deliberate, hey! It scared me so much that I actually stayed awake for a while after that. I've never had that happen before. Anything I've ever heard that was unexplained was always audible in the area, not in my mind. Maybe I'm just losing it and I accept that, but this felt intelligently driven, not just some hallucination. I guess that's what schizophrenics would say too. Has anyone else experienced this? So, you're not crazy. I just want to get that clear. I have to tell my clients that are going through their spiritual awakening, you're not crazy once you start unlocking your gifts. Yes, that was a spirit. Even though it was in your mind, spirits of a higher vibration can talk to you telepathically. So, that was definitely a spirit. But the thing is, sometimes with spirits, you have to set boundaries with them, because let me explain. So, do you want to be woken up at 2:30 in the morning every morning with them trying to just give you random messages? My spirit team knows that I had to tell them straight up, when I am disconnected, I am disconnected. It's like, I do not need to be hearing messages or anything. That's just when I'm with clients, whenever somebody asks me a question, or whether I need some guidance, or y'all need to tell me not to do something. Even though a lot of the time when my spirit team tells me not to do something, I still do it. But that's just me. But it's like, you need to make boundaries with these spirits, because let me tell you, in my house right now, there's my spirit team, but there's also 9 other spirits. 8 of them are family members, and then we have a lady named Miss Thornberry. Well, it's like, there was one morning, well, it was night, but it was also kind of morning because it was a.m. It was around like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and basically, I was trying to fall asleep, and I was on the verge of falling asleep. Next thing you know, I hear, dude, in my ear. And I'm like, bro, I shot up and I was wide awake. It's like, why'd you have to scare me like that? And then I was just like, what? What do y'all need to tell me? What was so important? And there was no other message other than that. So why'd you wake me up in the morning? I do not like to be woken up out of my sleep by an alarm or anything, especially that. So after that, I had to set a boundary that is like, okay, I understand y'all sleeping in the same house as me, but please do not be trying to give me messages or anything like that if I am not open to receiving them. It's like my spirit team is different. They're there to guide me, help me work, that type of thing. But y'all, unless I'm asking y'all a question, please do not do that, because that scared me so bad. So that's what you need to do in your house is any energies that are around you, you need to let them know that this is your space. You need to set that boundary as far as, okay, you can only do this between the hours of 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Like, basically, you need to set those boundaries. Otherwise, they're going to keep on doing it. And then it's going to annoy you every time they do it. That's why I had to tell my mom, who's a death medium, So basically with her gifts is she receives messages from spirits in her sleep, and a lot of the time it's random people that she don't know. She don't know them from a can of paint, but they be wanting to come to her to talk to her about things while she sleeps. I told her straight up, you need to set a boundary, otherwise they're going to keep doing it. Straight up. So let's go on to the next question. So this third question I had to read a few times before I kind of understood what they were talking about. So let's read it together again, shall we? What does it take to accept other people fully? Being accepting of other people is the key to experiencing boundlessness. If you accept someone just the way they are, you also include them as part of yourself. People are very flawed, but if you can find it in your heart to accept them, something amazing happens. This is something I have to work on. It's not easy to accept other people fully. I'm wondering what it actually takes. I have had glimpses of what it means, but I'm yet to be totally accepting when meeting other people. I fail to include them as part of myself. If your acceptance is total, the whole existence is part of you. As you are part of existence, existence is part of you. As a drop is part of the ocean is part of the drop. And I'm not going to say that philosopher's name because I don't want to butcher it and be disrespectful. What are your tricks to being totally accepting of other people? Okay. So I read somewhere in there, after reading it for like the 5th time, that it's when they're meeting other people. But the way this question is worded and how it's explained, it's as if they're also talking about accepting people that are already in your life, not just the people you are meeting. So I'm just going to answer both versions of that question. So as far as accepting people whenever you first meet them, I'm guessing you're asking about being judgmental towards them? But then again, you just gotta remember, everybody is flawed. You're flawed, I'm flawed, Bob Joe across the street is flawed, Big Brain Bertha across the creek, she's flawed. Everyone has flaws. We just don't need to be judging people by that, whether you see them on the side of the road or whether you're meeting them in an elevator for the first time. Everyone has flaws. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, are you talking about their energy? Because if you're trying to be accepting of their energy, all you have to do is protect your own energy so that you don't become sensitive to theirs. But then again, you don't say anything about energy, so I don't even know if that's... because that would be a whole different discussion right here. But then again, let's also go to acceptance of people that are in your life. Because I feel like a lot of people will relate to this. Acceptance towards people that are already in your life. You don't have to accept that they're in your life. You don't. Your life is yours to live and for you to be happy. And if you're a light worker like me, also to complete your mission. But you also came here on this planet to be human. So it's your life. Why can't you dictate who's in it and what is happening? You don't have to. You can just cut someone off. Now, you want to do it the right way, like in our other question. But you can cut someone out of your life the correct way. And you don't have to give them any reason. It's like, why are you going to accept them into your life if you know that they are bad for you? Why do you want to keep them around? It's your energy space, and you need to understand not everyone is going to be good for your energy space. So get rid of those toxic people. What are you waiting for? Why do you want to keep them around? They're not good for you. You need to understand that. And that's if you're talking about being accepting of people that are in your life. You don't have to be accepting of everybody. You don't. It's your life. You need to live it the way you want to. Next question. Now, if you read tarot or you're thinking about starting a business where you do readings, I feel like this one would help you. So, Other pro readers, how do I handle this situation with a client? Hi all, I've been reading for one of my clients for several years. Ever since her ex came back into her life, things have really changed. Oh no, I already know where this is going. The readings are getting repetitive. Yep, my answers aren't changing much because the real issue isn't him, it's that she keeps on letting him back in. He's a master manipulator. He's in a relationship with someone else, but he keeps stringing my client along. I have been honest with her about this, but it's almost like that part gets filtered out. Then in a few weeks to a month, she's back telling me more horrible things he did and said, trying to act like she isn't the one welcoming her ex back in who is seeing someone else already. I'm not sure what she's hoping to gain from the readings. It seems like she's hoping one day I'll tell her he's changed and is going to return. How would you handle this situation? Yeah, that's basically what she's looking for. I can tell you that right now. So this has happened to me with multiple clients. So I'm not a fan of doing love readings because most of the time it's the same type of message, because there are two types of clients when it comes to love readings, and I'm just going to leave it there. Now, what I'm not going to do is be like, oh, is my ex coming back? I will never do that. No. That is not good for you. And I don't like those questions, and it's like the psychics that use those types of questions in their ad, I'm just like, why are you trying to attract the unhealed people to keep them unhealed? Like, I feel like I need to mic drop after I said that. But, like, let me tell you about a situation, this type of situation with one of the clients I've had. So, basically, she got into a relationship with somebody, and she got a love reading. And basically, the love reading was like, yo, you need to keep him away. He's not good for your energy. You know he's not good for your energy. You just wanted that confirmation, so you need to go ahead and leave him. And with a lot of clients, which I don't mind at all, a lot of clients, after their reading, they'll email me and we'll just chat it up about what's going on in their life. So, which I don't mind that at all, because it's like, they just want someone just to talk to, which I'm there. Why not? I'll chat it up with you. So, she started talking to me about how he was abusive, this, that, and the third, and I was like, yeah, you need to get him out of your life, just like the reading said. And then I also talked to her about the cord cutting technique so that she can be free of his energy. And then she purchased another love reading, and it was for the same person. And I was like, ma'am, what's going on here? Like, and then a few months later, she got another love reading, but it was about a different guy. I don't even remember what that message of that one was. That was so long ago. I really don't remember. I just know that it wasn't the same person. And I gave that reading, and then about a month later, she gets another love reading because she got back together with the first guy who was abusive. So I did the reading, and the message was the same exact thing. He's not good for you. You need to cut cords with him. Please, just no. And then I did another love reading for her. And it was the same exact message. You need to leave him, and so on and so forth. And I was like, I can't get my clients to follow the advice that my guides want to give them. I can't take them by the hand and say, hey, you need to do this. I can just be like, I strongly advise you do this, but your life is in your own hands, so do with it what you will. But it's like, she was getting the same message over and over again, and she clearly wasn't taking the advice. So I had messaged her, and I was like, hey, like, here's the reading, but I feel like you really need to take this advice. You're literally just wasting money to be able for me to give you the same exact message over and over and over again. I feel like you either need to take the advice or not take the advice. Do what you will. But I don't think it's going to be good for you to keep on getting the reading over and over and over again, because you're going to get the same message over and over and over again. The response I got was kind of nasty from her. She was not too happy about that. But then again, I have not received a reading since. Love and light to her. Hope she's took the advice. But then again, that's how I would handle that situation, because you're going to have clients like that want to keep on asking the same exact thing over and over and over again, because they're hoping for a different answer so they can have that one confirmation in their head that's like, yes, I knew it. But the thing is that if you don't give them that confirmation, because it's straight up unethical to be like, just give them a fake message, just what they want to hear. So if you keep on giving them the same message over and over and over again and they're just not getting it, then you just need to let them know that, like, hey, you're not receiving any benefit from this. So I feel like it would be best for you not to receive any more readings. Now, if you want to receive other readings about another topic, that's completely fine. But this is just, we're going in circles, basically, and not getting anywhere. So that's how I would handle that situation, and that's how I have handled that situation before. Alright, so on to the last question. Alright, so the last question. Did awakening make you harder to talk to, or did it make everyone else harder to hear? I've been noticing something that's both subtle and kind of isolating. As my seeing has changed, the way I relate to people has gotten more complicated. Not in a I'm beyond them way, more like speaking different languages now. The words I use to make sense of things, the concerns that feel alive to me, the way I listen, it's all shifted enough that regular conversation often feels like I'm translating in real time or just staying quiet. I'm wondering, do you experience this, and how do you deal with it? Yes. So for me, through my healing, after my healing journey and after my spiritual awakening, there were two things that just made me feel different from everybody. Now, yours could be completely different. You might have a whole other thing going on, but I'll just give you my experience because you wanted to know if anyone else has felt this way. And for me, it was two different things. So, number one, whenever basically your healing journey and your spiritual awakening is like, you're a caterpillar, that's the old you. You become in this cocoon, that is your spiritual awakening, and then you walk out this big, beautiful butterfly, and that's the new you. Peace, love, positivity, love, and light. A lot of people I started to notice, I still have a lot of people in my life that were there when I was the unhinged me. He was unhinged, but they're still with me now. They still talk to me now every day or so. But I did notice a lot of people dropped off of my life and just completely stopped talking to me after I healed myself, because they wanted to be around that toxic, unhinged, alcoholic, crazy version of me. Because they thought it was fun, interesting, and dramatized, because that was their interpretation of it. Now, my interpretation of it was just an unhinged hot mess, but that was their interpretation of it. So, like, whenever I became this new person and went through my spiritual awakening, they just all stopped talking to me, because it's like, I even had people that were like, I don't even know who you are. Like, you are a completely different person. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, do you not have fun anymore? And that's, like, when people started dropping out of my life. Which, that's completely fine. Love and light to all of them. I wish them nothing but the ultimate peace and happiness. That's what I wish for everyone in this world, is the ultimate peace, happiness, and everything you ever want out of life. That's what I hope for everyone. So it's like, I still talk to people that are still in my life, but a lot of people left, and that is completely fine. That is their choice. They just felt like they couldn't relate to me. I don't know. But then again, it is what it is. I don't hold any ill will or any ill intentions. But whenever I first came out of my journey, I was like, oh my God, people are just dropping left and right. Like, what is even going on? Now, the second part of that is whenever you start to become more advanced and start to receive information that nobody knows about and start to be on a certain level of awareness, you receive a lot of information. I have received so much information from my spirit team of things that are going on in the world, things that are happening, and just a lot of information. But it's like, whenever I started to receive that information, I would also be running around being like, hey, did you hear about X, Y, and Z? Random person on the road. Let me tell you about entities, the fake Jesus, shapeshifters, and aliens. Like, you can't talk to regular people like that. So I had to learn to keep all of that information to myself, because I would get really excited with new information that nobody else knew about. So I was like, let me spread it out to the world. And a lot of the times my spirit guides were like, no, please don't tell random people about this. You need to not, they're not going to understand you. But I had to learn for myself. Yeah, they don't understand. So I keep a lot of spiritual information to myself, especially that high spiritual information. I keep it to myself. Now, if someone asks me a question about my gifts, my business, spirituality as a whole, anything of that nature, yeah, I'll answer, but I'm going to keep it on simple terms so that they can understand and we're not going down a big long rabbit hole that didn't need to be gone down in the first place. So, yes, you're also going to have a lot of information, but just keep it to yourself because they're not going to understand. Why does my camera feel... I feel like my camera has been moving for like 20 minutes, but then again, I've been bobbing my head around and everything. Okay, so I guess it's my head bobbing that's unfocusing the camera. I am so sorry for that. I will try next video not to do that. But yeah, it's like the people dropping off and then receiving so much information, that just made me feel like I'm different. I'm just different from everybody. But then again, you grow out of that. But that is what happens in the beginning. But you're going to learn to get through it. I know you will. But that was the first video of Ask a Psychic. First video, episode, part, whatever you want to call it. So I'm hoping to do this weekly. I'm also going to be posting, because I was on TikTok for a while, but then my spirit team got me away from TikTok. But I'll also be reposting some of my TikToks where I was talking about certain subjects every now and then. So we'll be doing this along with that, and then anything else that comes along the way, because this time I am on YouTube and I am here to stay. So, love and light to everyone. I hope to see you again soon.